What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders. It is the 4th day of December. Here we are sitting at about $583 with 8 hours and 22 minutes left in the day. We did have a very positive close yesterday. That was a close at $590, the first time that we've closed at or above this price since October. Since the very beginning of October, since the all-time highs of Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin, think about it like this, guys. Ready? Think about it like this. Bitcoin was here on October 6th, okay? All the way up here, somewhere in this little range, right? Bitcoin Cash was up here during that same time frame, right? But Bitcoin Cash is back in that range now, whereas Bitcoin is way far away. You guys, there's some serious divergence going on between the BCH and BTC pairs. Absolutely. And we could see this dominance. I mean, just look, right? You see how we've moved up since this time. We're back up here. This is down here since this time. This is that in between. We've moved up versus Bitcoin itself in that time there. And on the daily RSI, we look like we want to continue moving higher. The stochastics look like it as well, and the MACD is bullish as well. Looking at the weekly time frame, things just look like they're getting started. We're just getting started on this weekly move up for Bitcoin Cash versus BTC. And I very much do believe that this move will take us above 1%. Well above 1%. I mean, think about it here. We're on the BTC chart. So this is not priced in US dollars. This is priced in Bitcoin, okay? What we have here is a very famous type of like double bottom, okay? It's a little sloppy. And technically it looks better on the Bitcoin Cash dominance chart than it does on the BCH BTC chart, but it's the same thing regardless. It's the same thing. This is the same thing as this is. It's a double bottom. Even though it's a slightly lower low, it's still a double bottom. And it's a giant W with an M in the middle of it. If you've been watching my channel for, I don't know how long you've been watching my channel for, but at least a couple months, even let alone the last 3 years that we've had this channel, you know that we've had this, identification of W patterns throughout our time, and then also specifically W patterns with M's in them, right? This here, it's a little bit different than this here. You see the difference? That's what we have here. I don't know what this is called. People call it a W. People call it whatever else. It is a W, but it's a W with an M. I call it the reverse bow. I don't know what the pattern name is, so I'm just going to keep calling it the reverse bow until somebody hits me with something that sticks. It's a double bottom pattern, but with an M in it. Typically, what happens is when you recover, you get past this point here, you should rapidly, and the key word is rapidly, approach this area here. And typically with W's, you go above where the starting point was. You go just above it. It's like a V-shaped recovery. Typically, you go just above where the starting point was. But with, in my experience at least, these M-shaped W's, these W's with the M's in the middle of them, like that, they tend to perform better. Tend to. And it's not that from here to there, you're just going to move at a very fast pace. No, you can take your time, as we are, to get to this center point here. But once you get above that center point, likely the brakes are off, the gas pedal is hit to the floor, and we're going all the way up to this area here. Maybe we go just below. Maybe we go right to it. Most likely, we go just above it. And this is all a foreshadowing of the bullish things to come, all right? The projected outcome of Bitcoin Cash to BTC is that you will validate the change in trend here, the slow shift that we're seeing here. You see this rounded bottom, this slow shift. This, you guys, this is back in 2017. This has taken years to form. We started talking about the rounded bottom back here in 2023, how it was rounding out. Probably even before then, like honestly, in the very beginning of 2023, if not the end of 2022, we started talking about this. Years later from here, let alone from all this time, we've been forming this, and it's only gotten better. We're in a position now where the next move, whenever we do go above this area, should take us all the way up here. And likely, we probably do come back, right? This is going to be a long, slow, parabolic shift. It's what comes up will come back down inevitably, but a higher low, higher than where we are now. and then a higher high, and then a higher low. We'll probably shift to parabolic structure in the next cycle or two. But again, the next move, when we break out from here, we've seen these breakout moves happen periodically throughout Bitcoin Cash's existence. It's been a while since we've had one. The next breakout move should take us above here, which means that we should see BCH BTC rapidly approaching over the weeks, over the months to come, a 2.8% price versus Bitcoin, or likely higher. A 3% price versus Bitcoin right now at $93,000. If Bitcoin's 93,000, which it is right now, a 3% price of that would be what, $2,700? Is that right? Yeah, $2,700. If Bitcoin's worth more, then Bitcoin Cash should be worth more, right? If Bitcoin Cash is going here versus Bitcoin, let's say we are going to 3%, let's say we're even going more. Where's the nice fib level for this? Let's see, let's take a high to a low. We're going to take this low. We're not going to take the fake out low, okay? I feel like that's the low of this move down. This is the low of the sideways face. So I think that makes more sense to me. It's very common to not just stop at the 382, this yellow line here. It's very common to actually wick above it. And what's right there? If we wick above it, right there, boom, where the W is expected to go. But 3%, whether it's 3%, 3.9%, whatever, when Bitcoin Cash makes this move up, Bitcoin will likely not be at 93K. It'll likely be at higher prices too. So realistically speaking, if everything happens the way that we're projecting it to go, I see no reason why Bitcoin Cash from here, $584, I see no reason why we wouldn't see something that's worth more than $3,000 at a minimum. At least $2,700, right? But likely $3,000 or more. I mean, that makes all the sense in the world to me. And you might be thinking in your head, well, hold on now, C-Zar. Hold on there, buddy boy. You're talking about us going all the way up here. Look at what are you talking about, man? You see that move that it would have to make? Have you seen any moves like this? Like, come on, these kind of moves don't happen. Look at how big. You're crazy. That's like back in the very beginning of time. Yes, you're right. It is a humongous move. It's a humongous move that we're forecasting. But what we're doing here on the Bitcoin Cash US dollar chart, what we're doing here is massive, and it deserves, it's deserving, and even, it's not just deserving, it's predicting a huge move is going to come. Lifelong, since 2017, multiple bear cycles, multiple bull cycles. You've been in this consolidation range. You've been in this triangle of truth this whole time. You've broken out. The breakout, think if you consolidated for a month or three and then you had a breakout. That would be an exciting move. You guys, this is a lifelong multi-cycle consolidation that's lasted for 8 years. We're about to break out of it now. On the monthly ribbons, or on the monthly time frame, the monthly ribbons have crossed green. We haven't seen that follow-through move yet. I mean, we were red here. The follow-through move from this contraction down was this. We haven't gotten the follow-through at all. The move from the ribbons perspective alone should be massive. The move from the perspective of breaking out of this alone should be massive. And it agrees exactly with what we're seeing here. The idea would be that we go from here, we probably go above this high. Probably, right? Don't take my word for it. We've seen it happen with a few different cryptos, haven't we? Zcash comes to mind. When we broke out, where did we stop? Did we stop at last cycle's high? No. When you broke out of your lower high downtrend that you've been in for your whole life, multiple cycles, multiple bull markets, bear markets, does that sound familiar? Hey, did we stop at this high? No, we did not stop at this high. We went through it. We actually went all the way up to our high itself back here at the current all-time high. With Dash, we see the same results with Dash. Similar, technically, because we did not go all the way up to last cycle's high, technically, but this very significant resistance point here, when you broke out, did you stop at these resistance points? No, you went through them. Your most notable resistance points. Bitcoin Cash, you're not going to stop at these points. You're not going to stop at this point. You're going to push through. We can go over XRP and XLM too. It's the same results. It's very probable that we see a move that takes us above this high here. And if we're going above this high here, what's the only logical area to go to from a high to a low? It would be at least the 786, but probably the 886 or higher. 2700 again or higher makes the most sense to me. That's what we're going to do. So yes, it is a massive move on the BCH BTC scale. What we're doing here is massive in itself. This is a serious shift. Every crypto that's ever existed versus Bitcoin, whenever they're in a downtrend, they don't do this. This doesn't happen. There's not a single coin in existence that does this, and that is a slow rounded bottom. Maybe periodically here and there you get some wicked pumps and they break out of their trend momentarily, but they come back into it and they slowly but surely whittle versus Bitcoin as time goes on. This is unique. This is unique. This is very unique, and what's going to take place is going to it's going to illustrate that, right? This is not a once in a this is a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. This is not something that comes along once a week or once a month. This is not something that you see all the time. I've been in crypto for 10 years. You don't see this, you guys, versus Bitcoin. You don't see this. You don't see this by itself, this massive, just look at this signal. You don't see this kind of setup too often in charts, let alone crypto, stocks, everything. It happens, but it's very uncommon when you have something this massive at this scale that is so obviously about to blow up. I mean, I'm truly excited for what comes next. If we were, I want to play a game real quick. I want to play a game of what if. What if Bitcoin Cash only gained 181%? We assume Bitcoin stays at the same price that it is now, 181%. What would that be versus Bitcoin right now? 181. So 181%. Because if you're not on board with my idea that we go above this high, which I think it's very obvious we're going to go above this high, at least get on board with the idea that we break out, we'd go to it, right? I mean, think about it this way. We've got this massive multi-cycle historical trend that we're breaking, and the minimum target here to that prior cycle's high, that's 181% move. You guys, we've seen bigger, look at this, from a low to the high, we've already seen a bigger move than that take place this cycle. From a low here to a high, we saw a bigger move than that take place this cycle. Twice already with breakout moves. We've seen it take place in a month's time and 2 months' time or less. Twice this cycle already without breaking out of this multi-historical cycle trend that we've been in. You think from here that's all we're going to get? I highly freaking doubt it. I want to cuss so bad because I highly fucking doubt it. But man, I'm not going to do it. BCH BTC. If Bitcoin was the same price that it is now and Bitcoin Cash grew this, BCH BTC would grow by that same amount, right? 180%. It's virtually the same. The math checks out. We're going to break with that. First off, let's just come to the conclusion again. We just made logical sense out of why it really doesn't make sense to expect prices here and only higher. Again, we just made logical sense because we've seen two breakouts here already this cycle that did not break out of a multi-cycle historical trend consolidation phase in itself. That wasn't groundbreaking. We saw multiple moves this cycle that are bigger than what we're forecasting here, okay? It's more logical that we see a move that is likely above $2,000. We can all get on board with that. 181%. That same move reflected here, again, assuming Bitcoin doesn't gain in price. If Bitcoin were to gain in price, this would move down a little bit, right? But just assuming that this move, I'm backtracking here. I'm trying not to backtrack. I'm trying to just move forward, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page so that people aren't thinking, well, hold on, if it's 181% versus the US dollar, wouldn't that be different for BTC? Yes, it would be different, but if Bitcoin stayed the same, it wouldn't be different, and that's the whole intent and purpose. But let's imagine Bitcoin moves up too. Let's imagine Bitcoin moves up in the same amount of time. Instead of if Bitcoin Cash moves up 181%, what's Bitcoin going to move up to? Right? In the same time, let's say Bitcoin itself moves up, what, 50%? I doubt it. But let's say in the same time that Bitcoin Cash moves up 180%, Bitcoin moves up, let's even do half. Let's do 90%. Bitcoin moves up 90%. Bitcoin Cash versus BTC then, 180%, if we cut that in half and it would be 90%, that still takes us above these highs. And that's rough math. This isn't accurate. Technically we'd still be higher, but I'm trying to satisfy all the back talk, all the naysaying to this. There's no way you can cut it. The grand kind of crescendo of this thought here, there's no real way that you can cut it at all. That would explain that this next move for Bitcoin Cash does anything less than take out these highs versus Bitcoin, BCH BTC. And with that, we are vindicated to this level. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. There's no way in hell that this next move is lesser than this. It's going to be above that, which means there's no way in hell that Bitcoin Cash stops below these highs. It's going to be greater. With the whole W premise that we have, the next target for BCH BTC is up here. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. 28% of a Bitcoin, 2.8% of a Bitcoin or more, that gives us a multi-$1,000 price for Bitcoin Cash. Likely. Because again, likely in the same amount of time, Bitcoin itself will probably grow in value. If Bitcoin itself, let's say let's say Bitcoin Cash grows 200%, 300%, whatever, and Bitcoin barely sees new all-time highs. We're only at new all-time highs. Or we're only at 120K. 120K, but BCH BTC's value is basically 3%. That's $3,600. It's a little bit less than 36 because that's 2.8, but we're rounding up because likely you go above this line. You don't stop below it. Anyways, fantastic things are coming, my friends. Fantastic things are coming. And all this long-term stuff is all predicated from what we did yesterday. All of it. All of it is predicated. It's all predicated from the things that we've done throughout our history. This was the starting point. Look at the volume. This was the starting point. Oh, we're down today. Who cares? Go lower, please. I want to buy more. Let me sell everything I have to buy some Bitcoin Cash. It is a phenomenal idea. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but damn it if it shouldn't be. Like, this thing is about to freaking flourish, you guys. What we did was we broke out of this downward sloping trend here. Lower highs. You broke out. You did what's called a break, a hook, and a go. It's a break, hook, and go. Very bullish setup. You had this horizontal phase here that you were consolidating in. You broke above it, back tested it for support. You broke, hook, and go on two different consolidation phases. You're breaking out of them now. Okay, you're breaking out of this now. You're breaking out of this now. You're breaking out of this now. All that breakout leads to a breakout of this range here, right? Which leads to the breakout of this overall range here. Which leads to the breakout of this overall range here. Do you see? It all started yesterday. The ending point is somewhere above here and likely somewhere below here. But it could be higher. You never know. What if we expand upon this? What if we expand upon this a little bit and instead of trying to be conservative, we are a little bit more generous, let's say. Let's use the word generous. Instead of stopping here, we go higher. The next level is the 0.5. What if Bitcoin Cash sees a 3.9% value versus Bitcoin instead of a 3%? Well, 4% of $100,000 is $4,000. That would be just under 4K. But if Bitcoin itself were to grow in the same amount of time, let's say it's at 160K, 150K, maybe not by the end of the year, but by the end of this move for Bitcoin Cash, which could be in January, February, who knows? Maybe it is by the end of the year. But let's say that our next move, let's just go to the golden ratio of what our next extension would be if Bitcoin does move higher. Low to high here. The golden ratio is right here. That's about a 77% move. That's a very big move. We've seen bigger moves this cycle, though. We have seen bigger moves from a low to a high here. That was 91%. By the way, that 91% move took place from January 22nd until March 11th. So about a month and a half. If you don't think that Bitcoin can be worth 166K in a month and a half from now, we've already seen it happen. We've actually already seen stuff like that happen multiple times this cycle, and typically as the cycle progresses, you get stronger moves, not weaker moves. Okay, so 77% move versus a 91% move here. Yeah, 166K, we're still being conservative. If Bitcoin's at 166K, 1% would be $1,600. So 4% would then be 66. It'd be over $6,000. 4% would then be over $6,000. This would be just under 4%. That'd mean probably right around $6,000 for Bitcoin Cash. I want to be clear in what we just said there. It's completely possible, and to me it makes the most sense that we stop somewhere between 2,700 and probably like this high here at 4,300. We probably stop somewhere up here. Okay, monthly high close, monthly wicking close, all-time high, whatever, something in this zone. But we just made sense out of targets that could take you all the way up to $6,000. We just made sense out of that. And not even being exuberant, just being conservative. And that would take you right to your 1-4-1-4. It's a very possible outcome. It all starts now, man. It started yesterday. Maybe there's one case we could argue it started on the 21st of November. Whatever it is, this move up, we're in the middle of it now. Think about it like this, right? You are in, imagine it's the future. Let's imagine this move has already happened. Whether it's at 2,700, whether it's at 6,000, wherever it might be. This move has already happened. We're already up here in this zone, right? And you're looking back, right? It's like this move here. It's already here, but you're able to come back in time and buy at the very beginnings of this move. You're able to properly identify that this was the very starting point, and that's basically where we are now. We're at the very starting point of a move that's going to take us all the way up. The only difference is this took a year. This is going to take months, like 2 months at the most. By the end of January, if Bitcoin Cash is not worth multiple thousands of dollars, I would be thoroughly surprised. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the end of December, Bitcoin Cash was worth multiple thousands of dollars. If not at least certainly pushing well past $1,000. What's going to happen is going to be spectacular. We've been forecasting it for years now. This will be the biggest move of Bitcoin Cash's life ever. From its existence to where we are now until the end of time, this will be its biggest move ever. And it's happening right before our eyes. We're at the starting point. We know the future. We can see it. We've got our crystal ball. It's working properly. And that's where it's taking us. I've got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.